Moussa, what is a griot? Explain that to me, if you would.
A griot is a person who plays music in Africa. A griot is someone who is also a storyteller. A griot is somebody who also makes peace. Griots are peacemakers in Africa. And also, griots are advisors at the royal courts. So this, all these occupations for griots were, they were doing these jobs in the days of the kingdoms in the Mali Empire. And we still keep that tradition going. So, of course, not all of it. We don't have kings, anything
sure.
like that. So we just serve the people, the common population, entertains and tell the stories.
Well, that's a very interesting combination of roles, isn't it? Musician and storyteller and advisor. It almost makes you wonder, well, I mean, all musicians should be storytellers, right?
Right.
Well, you were here with Sekou Camara, who plays the Bala, or the balafon, and let me ask you to just give a little sample of your music, just a little quick flash of what you're playing the Kora, a stringed instrument. The balafon is a kind of, it's a mallet instrument that's similar to a marimba or even a xylophone, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't you play me a little something?
Sure.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Now, what I heard with that, Moussa, correct me if I'm wrong, but you established a musical figure, and then it had a kind of a supporting sequence of notes, and when you joined in Sekou, you were playing kind of the supporting, you were playing those same notes in a different octave, but on a mallet instrument, so that kind of supported, and then you started improvising on top.
Right.
Is that what happened?
Exactly, yeah. That's what it is. That's exactly what was happening, yes.
Good, I didn't just dream that.
You didn't just dream that. Your musical background helped you with that one.
Well, let's hope so. But it was very, the mood was very, very strong throughout that. And it made me understand that whole tie between the role of the musician and the storyteller. Right. Because you set the mood with your instrument, right?
That's right.
And then tell your story accordingly.
That's right.
Now, are you a griot going back generations?
Going back generations, that's right. So, to be a griot, you have to be born into that, a family of griots. Nowadays, we don't have the restrictions are not there so much, but back in the days, centuries ago, you would have to be born into a griot family in order to play any musical instruments. So only griots were responsible for playing, and only griots could play any musical instruments or sing, do any kind of entertainment.
So it really was a little bit restricted in terms of...
It was so to speak, it was like a taboo to do, something that's not the occupation of your family.
When you tell stories, are they stories with a specific moral or message? Or they have a specific purpose to them?
Yes, they have a specific purpose, and a lot of the stories, they are, in Africa, we did not have any written records of things.
Right.
Until fairly recently, when, with the introductions of writings.
Sure.
So the oral, the tradition was all oral, so you can imagine the, importance to, to have people assign this role of keeping, all of that. So the griots were responsible for retaining all that information, and that's why they were important at the royal courts also, because all the kings they need the information of the people. They need all that story, things that were happening before, so they can use it for the future.
That strikes me as something that is still relevant in the 21st century. Do you feel that way?
I do feel that way also, yes. Yes, because we do, no matter what, we always need to learn from the past in order to keep going forward. So we definitely have to learn from the past.
Terrific. Thank you so much, both of you, very
You're
much
welcome.
for coming in. Yeah. Now, so that's the interview, and that was great.